Welcome to Sweethearts or Rivals. I'm Charla.
I'm Justin.
What's on our table today?
We have
Cacao.
Cacao.
It's a game that plays 2 to 4 players.
Yep.
It can take you about 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And they recommend that you can play it with ages 8 and up.
That's correct.
The copy we have is published by Z-Man Games.
Yep. And they sent it to us because we won it from the BGG.
On a contest.
Haha.
So if you really enter those contests and answer all those questions, real games come in the mail.
It does happen.
When you win.
It could happen to you.
It happened to us.
It happened to us twice.
It was awesome.
What do you think of the components of Cacao?
Cacao has great components. I love the little cacao pieces.
Wood is awesome.
Which is a nice touch. Well, they could have just used cubes and they cut them in these cute little coffee bean shapes.
Yeah, that is nice.
Or not coffee beans, but
yeah,
chocolate beans.
Cacao beans.
Cacao beans.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you've got your standard meeples, which are nice.
Mm-hmm.
The artwork is really pretty.
Yes.
Which I like a lot, and they use nice, vibrant colors.
I even like the fact that the forest or the jungle tiles are mostly green. Mm-hmm. And the worker tiles are mostly yellow, so you get that checkerboard effect really well.
Yep. Yeah. So you can really see like a difference between which tiles go on the diagonals.
Yeah, it's a good visual cue of remember where the tiles go.
Yep.
Very nice.
And extra points because they included purple as a player color, which is awesome. I mean, pink would have been my favorite choice, but that's just me.
I can understand why they didn't put green, because it would just get lost in the green.
It sure would get lost in the green. Although they're only used for tracking on your player boards.
That's true.
But you do need the player color here to stand out.
Yep.
So the player colors are white, purple, yellow, and red.
Yes.
Yep. And the box art is gorgeous.
It's very cool.
I have to say, when I saw the cover for this game, it made me want to find out more about this game immediately just by how pretty the box cover was.
Nice. That's a good box cover.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
So what do you think about the strategery?
The strategery of Cacao is a very interesting blend of tactics and randomness. There's not a ton of strategy. Not
really, because you have to wait and see what's coming out.
Yeah. So depending on what tiles you have in your hand, your worker tiles, and what tiles are available here for the jungle, and also based off of what other people have done, it's very heavily tactical.
Mm-hmm. Unless, I'll just say, if you knew really well what cards were in your stack, and you knew you had so many of this kind of worker and so many of this kind of tile worker and so many of this, you could kind of plan it more out.
And that's the big part. Like, that's the only real part of strategy or long-term planning that there is knowing in a 2-player game there's only 2 watering holes. Knowing that means it's going to inform your strategy. Like, I need to get in on that water hole right away because otherwise I'm not going to have the opportunity.
Right. If you watch our playthrough, you'll see we had a big discussion about that because the 2 came out very early in the game.
Yeah.
And we couldn't remember in a 2-player game how many there were.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, the other big part with strategy is, as Charlotte was mentioning, knowing what you have in your worker deck. Because if you're using, like, you have these worker tiles here, and these have 1 worker on each side, and you have mostly these, but then you have a little bit less where you've got 1 on each side and 2 on one side, nothing here, and then even fewer of these ones that have 1 and 3.
You've only got 2 of these ones.
Near the end of the game, when you can start spending your sun worshipping discs,
these ones here,
to overbuild, these can change the game. So there is some strategy in not using these until near the end of the game.
If you can hold on to them.
Exactly.
But sometimes it just comes up with that something's right. I mean, not these 2 are perfect, but say these 2 were like just a perfect fit for something like this. You might just have to bite the bullet and use it. Yeah.
So there is some strategy to it, but more of the game is informed with short-term planning, that tactics. Like, that's a really good move. I got to take that right now. And then, of course, the luck of what tiles are going to come up in your hand and for the jungle, because, of course, they're random every time. and where are they going to get placed. What's really great about that, though, is when it's not your turn, depending on where you place your jungle tiles, I'm involved. So all the players are involved when it's not their turn, which is nice. Yeah. It's good. All right, so what about the complexity of Cacao?
Cacao is not a complex game.
No.
No, it's a tile laying game. Once you know that you can't put workers next to workers and jungle next to jungle, it's very straightforward. It's a little bit different because your workers are on your tiles. Yeah. Which is different, but not complex. No. No. It's a great gateway game.
An excellent gateway game.
And if you're looking for a tile laying game, a gateway tile laying game, and you're not into Carcassonne, I would suggest Cacao.
Yep, this might be the game for you.
Yeah.
The only sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's got an interesting theme, and I find how they laid out the tiles in this little board and everything. It makes it, really player friendly.
Yeah. Very interesting, cool little game. The only issue I've ever had in playing Cacao is remembering that tiles don't activate. It's the workers that activate. So there's been games where, this person here has placed their tile there, and then I'll put a tile here and activate what seems like this tile, and they'll be like, oh, well, I get to do this now, and it's not. So you just have to remember it's your workers that activate the first time they're next to the jungle, and then they never activate again.
Yeah, whenever your worker touches something new. Yeah. And then they get so tired from that work, they fall asleep.
They're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go home.
That is really the only small little issue I've ever had playing the game, and it's easy to remember once you've played it once or twice.
And everything's really quick to set up. It's really quick to teach. Yep. And it's not difficult at all.
Awesome.
So what do you think about playability?
For playability, the mechanics of the game and the theme do kind of blend well together. You're building out your tribe, exploring more jungle, and then taking advantage of the opportunities that the jungle has given you to get lots and lots of gold, because that's what every tribe wants.
Tons of gold for sure.
Yeah, just tons of gold.
Treasure.
Look at that. Yeah. We've gotten our water hole better. That means more gold.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It grows more cacao and it gives you more gold.
There you go. Yeah. But still, like, the creation of the jungle and tribe kind of plateau out here works really well. It's really cool. It scales really well with the number of players. If you're going to have, the 2-player game versus the 4-player game, the 4-player game is going to be a little bit longer, but not a lot.
No, because you take out some of your worker tiles for bigger games. Yeah.
So it's going to scale it back. Plus, even if it did take a whole lot longer, there's very little downtime, which is awesome when you're scaling for number of players. The downtime is minimal because you're always trying to see where people are going to place things to activate your workers when it's not your turn. So that's awesome.
And you're also looking to make sure people aren't putting their workers in a spot that you were saving for yourself.
Yeah. So the downtime on this game is minimal, which is awesome for a gateway game. The game length is super quick, super easy. It's fast to set up, so that's great. And even though the start of the game is always the same 2 tiles, the pile of jungle tiles and the pile of worker tiles is always going to be shuffled, so that is always going to play out differently. So it has a bit of replayability. Does this game have the awesomeness or the cuteness?
This game is cuter than awesome.
This is true. I would agree with that.
It's way cuter with the artwork, and the colors are really beautiful.
Yep.
It's a great game, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I could say it was more awesome than cute. So
no, it's definitely cute.
It's cuter than awesome.
It's a cute little game.
Yeah.
Playing this game, at no point do I do something and go, yeah, that was awesome. That just doesn't happen. I make moves and I go, that was a good move. All right, go.
Yeah.
So definitely more cute than awesome. I would agree.
Yep. So if you had to suggest this game to be an excellent game for a certain game group, what would you say?
This game is a very good gateway game. So if your group is new to games, this might be the one for you. If you like puzzles, putting together the tiles, that's where most of the game is. So that kind of puzzle tile laying, if that you're into,
maximizing the workers in your hand for money that they can get you.
So if your group's into that, it'd be for you. This game would be for you. And this game can be played with quite young players.
Yes, they do recommend ages 8 and up.
Yep.
So, for sure, if you have a family looking for a cute gateway tile-laying game, for sure.
Yeah, that you can play with the whole family. I mean, we can play it together and have fun. It's a good game. But I could bring a bunch of kids in and we could play it and it would still be fun. It's not too complex that they won't understand what they're doing. But at the same time, there's like some hidden depths there to playing your tiles and keeping your good tiles to later in the game. Placing tiles so that right now you're not getting stuff, but when somebody else plays something next to you, you're going to get stuff on their turn. Stuff like that. Some hidden depths that make it a great game that you can kind of be a young player or a new gamer and then build on that.
Right.
Yeah. So definitely gateway game material.
Right.
Awesome.
Yep. Awesome. So do you think this is a keeper or do you think we might trade it?
For me, this is a trader.
It's hard for me because it's so pretty.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful game. But our go-to tile-laying game is Carcassonne.
Yeah.
And I feel that if I wanted to play a tile-laying game, because it's still puzzly, there's still things to work out. And with Carcassonne, there's all those levels of, like we call it cutthroat Carcassonne.
Yeah, all those levels of passive-aggressive play.
Right. Which this kind of, it doesn't have those levels.
Not a lot, no.
So my go-to, I would still probably choose that. So I'd probably actually, if there's something in a math trade that this could trade for, I probably would trade it.
Yep. And for me, it's a trader because it really is a gateway geared game. This is for like new gamers. Even though there's some hidden depth there, we've discovered that hidden depth like really quickly. And I feel like we've played it out.
Yeah, I feel the only reason is because we play a lot of games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
yeah. Great game. But we're looking for something just a level above.
Yeah.
So this for me is a trader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had some young kids or something,
yeah,
it would be probably a keeper. But.
That's true.
But you never know what you can get in a math trade.
Yep. So do we finish the game as sweethearts or rivals? We finish this game as sweethearts. Yep.
Because it's really fast, actually.
Yeah.
And like you said, you don't ever feel like you're really, haha, I blocked you there.
Yeah.
Take that.
You can get a little bit of that at the very end by playing those discs, but
That's
only
true.
if you've really kind of held back some stuff. And then sometimes that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. That is the game of Cacao.
Yes.
Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you next time.
Laters.